Okay, we got some examples with multiplying integers using those rules we just talked about. I'll also work in some general multiplication strategies that ideally you should know, and I'll probably do a whole series on that at some point. But yeah, here we go. 3 times 11, well, that's just 33. Remember, integers are positive numbers as well as negative numbers, so just regular old multiplication can show up. Down here, 14 times negative 2. A positive times a negative is a negative. And then we just do our regular multiplication. 14 times 2 is 28, so negative 28. Negative 10 times negative 10. A negative times a negative is a positive. 10 times 10 is 100, so we get positive 100. Negative 25 times 4 is going to give us a negative. And 25 times 4 is also 100, so negative 100. 9 times negative 9 is going to give us a negative. 9 times 9 is 81, so we're going to get negative 81. Negative 7 times negative 8, that's going to be a positive, and 7 times 8 is 56, so positive 56. Not too bad. All right, here's the next set. 2 times negative 3 times 4. So since we have an odd number of negatives that we're being an odd number of negative factors, I should say, we're going to have a negative answer. And then we just multiply our numbers. 2 times 3 is 6. And then 6 times 4. Maybe we should just put the negative there. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And then we bring down the times 4. And that's going to give us negative 24. All right, negative 1 times negative 11 times negative 7. Again, that's an odd number of negative factors. I got 1, 2, 3 negative numbers. So my answer is going to be negative. And then I just multiply my numbers. 1 times 11 is 11. And then times 7 is 77, but it is negative. Down here, negative 10 times 9 times negative 8. Well, we have a even number of negative factors. So 1 and 2. There's 2 negative numbers there. So our answer is going to be positive. I could do 10 times 9 times 8, but why don't I just do 9 times 8, which is going to be 72. Again, I'm ignoring the negative signs because I know my answer is going to be positive. And then times 10. And I just stick that 0 at the end and I get 720. Remember, multiplication is associative, so you can do the multiplication in any order. I can do the negative 10 times 8 times 9, or I can just go left to right. Does not matter. You'll get the same answer each time. 7 times negative 5 times 5. Well, I'm going to do these two first, and I'll get negative 25, and then times 7. Well, I know 25 times 8 is 200, but I'm doing it times 7, so I'm just going to subtract the 25 from there and get 175, but I'm doing a positive times a negative, so it's going to be negative 175. If this is too fast, you need to work on your multiplication skills without negative numbers. Again, I'm going to do a whole series on that at some point, so whenever that's ready, I'll link it somewhere. Okay, 6 times 6 times negative 9. One thing you can always do, too, to make it easier for yourself, if you have a negative number, that's equal to the positive version times negative 1. So that way we can just look at this thing with just positive numbers and then just multiply a negative 1 at the end, which is just going to change the sign. So 6 times 6 is 36 times 9 times negative 1. Well, if I did 36 times 10, that's 360. But I have 36 times 9, so I'm just going to subtract a 36 from that and get, what's that going to be, 324? Yeah, so we'll have 324 times negative 1, which is negative 324. Negative 324. Last one, negative 3 times 4 times negative 9. I'm going to do that again, actually. So I will split this 3 up into negative 1 times 3. Then I got times 4. And then I got times negative 1 times 9. And I'm going to do this, again, you can do these numbers in any order. You can multiply them in any order. -1 times -1, well, a negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 1 is 1. So these kind of just cancel each other out, and we're left with a positive 1, which I don't have to write. So now I'll have 3 times 4 times 9. 3 times 4 is 12, and then times 9. Well, 12 times 10 is 120, but I want 12 times 9, so I'm going to subtract the 12, and I will get 108. So we get a positive 108.